Good morning, guys. Just wanted to jump on here with you this morning and share something that I listened to over the weekend. I was listening to a podcast with a cat named Alex Hormozi. If you are a business owner or in kind of the business space on social media at all, you probably have heard of this guy. He's blown up over the last year or so all over the social media channels, and with good reason. The guy's brilliant. He got his start in the fitness industry and has since branched out. And he was talking about 4 things that you have to have or have to do in order to be successful in business. And 3 out of those 4 nail the fitness journey or fitness walk to a T. And so just to get right into it, the 4 things he was talking about, number 1, you had to be able to influence people. Number 2, you have to have a mission. And I don't think those are the words exactly that he used for number 2, but that's essentially what he was saying, right? You have to have a goal. You have to have something you're trying to accomplish, an objective. Number 3 was impulse control. And number 4 was practicing your inputs in order to get the output that you want. And obviously from a fitness perspective, influencing people really doesn't matter. But man, those other 3, those just really kind of encapsulate what this fitness walk is about. So number 1, the mission, right? You have got to have a goal. You've got to have some kind of objective, some kind of North Star that you are following. Because that keeps you on track. It keeps your mind focused. It keeps you kind of dialed in. You know, without a goal, without an objective, it is very easy for our minds and our attention and our focus to wander. And without a clear-cut objective, without a clear-cut goal, we tend to kind of revert back to old practices and habits. And if your old practices and habits kept you in shape, that's probably great. But if not, then it's a problem, right? So having a goal, having a clear-cut objective is crucial. And when you're talking about a goal, it's got to be specific, right? The idea of just being in shape, okay, that's great, but what does that mean? Somebody who's running a marathon or trained for a marathon is in shape, but they're in a different kind of shape than somebody who is prepped to run like an obstacle course race, or a different kind of shape than somebody who is training to enter a BJJ tournament or something along those lines, right? So you have to be specific about what it is that you want, just so that you, obviously, so you know that you're successful, right? So you have to have a mission. That's item number 1 here. Number 2 is the impulse control. And this one is, I think, derails more folks than anything else, because they get started on a good plan, right? They get started on a good program and they're moving in the right direction, and then they wake up on a Tuesday and they're like, oh, I don't want to follow my diet plan today. I want to roll through the drive-thru at Dunkin'. You got to be able to rein that in and stick to the program. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's no room for Dunkin' in your life or even in your program. But if it's not on the schedule, you need to be able to resist and control that impulse. And number 3, just consistently performing the right inputs so that you can get the output that you want. And essentially all he's saying there is just do the work, right? You got to consistently do the work You got to consistently have the correct input in order to get the output that you want. So if I'm looking to get leaner, then part of my input has to be making sure that I'm getting enough protein in my diet, making sure that I'm getting enough vegetables in my diet, making sure that I'm getting enough healthy, nutritious carbohydrates in my diet. That's the input that's going to get me the output of being leaner. And I've got to do that consistently, and I've got to do it consistent enough, long enough in order to get the output back. And again, none of this is rocket science, but I've been a trainer for 27 years now, and one of the things that I have seen in that time frame is that the more simplified you can make an approach, the more likely folks are to stick with it. As long as you're not degrading the effectiveness of it, right? You can't make it so simple that it stops working, but the more simplified you can make an approach, the more likely people are to practice it, and the more likely they are to practice it, the more likely that comes kind of back to the input-output. The more likely they are to practice it, the more likely they are to get the result or the output that they're looking for. So, and anytime I hear kind of simple frameworks like that, I always kind of jump up and pay attention, because it, again, simplicity rules. Simple machines don't break very often, and when they do, they're easy to fix. So, anyways, I thought that was pretty insightful from our friend Alex. If you are in the business space, look him up. The guy's got great stuff. And I hope you guys have a great day.